and maybe the slogan, they said that there is a party which was registered by Honorable Balam, the People Power something,
Front.
People Power Front, the People's Front for Freedom. In their opinion, they think the two are the same. Well, this is going to be subjected. This is going to be subjected to analytical definitions. And I am sure we have the minds, we have the competent minds to argue our way out. The other is People's Front for Freedom. The other is People Power Front. In my limited understanding, one stops on the way, another one defines intensively what they are up to. This is a People Power Front. Okay, what do we do with the People Power Front? Ours is a front for freedom. Our destination is well defined. In registration of companies and organizations like political parties, the registrar requires you to be clear, not to involve a lot of ambiguity in your submissions. So our team has responded, and I think my submission today on the dialogue is within the responses that the team has submitted to the Electoral Commission. For us, we are not scared. It is business as usual. We are only waiting for the Electoral Commission. That's what I can say. So they also raised the issue of the color, because we submitted our colors. No, the colors of the FDC are yellow, red,
sky blue,
green, and sky blue.
You also have sky blue.
The colors of the PFF is royal blue. They're different.
And white.
It's royal blue and white and red. They're different.
I think I agree with Mr. Semuju. I was listening to him. He was like, these guys are just being biased, because if they talk of colors, People Powers, NUP also has some blue in it.
No,
when they're
the genesis of blue is UPC. UPC has blue. And also and when Jema was registered, UPC tried to complain, but the officers at the Electoral Commission then looked at more significant distinction between what UPC through blue stood for and what the Jema represented, and Jema was granted.
The closeness in the names, like they were like, look, there is Democratic Party,
yes,
there is Social Democratic Party,
good,
there is People's Progressive Party,
good,
closely similar,
yes,
and now People's Front for Freedom and People Power Front. If you allow the other ones, which also have some words that are similar, why are you denying these ones an opportunity? But his argument carries water.
But we went on this avenue expecting just that, and I said we are well equipped.
But equipped how? I love the way you try to
watch the space. Watch the space.
This is the Electoral Commission.
It is Electoral Commission, but
it's in their hands to decide whether the party is registered or not.
They derive those powers from the dictations of the Constitution.
Nevertheless,
they are serving the powers of the people. They are not serving anybody else.
My question is,
and we are part of the people.
My question is,
yes,
what if they go on and refuse to register you?
I said that legally they don't have powers to refuse. They don't. They don't. That is why I said they asked for clarification. They wanted a deeper understanding of what we had submitted. They did not say, no, these ones are rejected. They said, guys, come back and tell us about this blue.
Okay.
For us, we think it is the FDC blue because you guys are coming from FDC. We told him, no, the FDC blue is sky blue.
And yours is?
Ours is royal blue.
Dr.
We
Swaip
also
Kagwa
told
is-
them that for us, we are a front for freedom. There are very many fronts, including the FRONASA.
Okay.
But for us, we are a front for freedom.
I heard you here the other day in the morning and I was like, what could be the hurdles that are lying ahead of these guys? Is it going to be easy for them to have their party registered? Or the state was going to make it hard for them? Like he said, that these guys are acting on the orders of somebody. What do you think is lying ahead of them?
Thank you very much. First, allow me to pass on our condolences once again to the family and friends of the late minister, the late Sarah. As Gemma, we recognize her contributions to the country, the nation, and particularly to the education sector. My own wife, Dr. Aisha Naiga, this was her boss at Metropolitan
University.
Yes, International University. And Gemma being so much focused on education itself, we really feel this big gap. Our president, Honorable Osman Wasalwan, was at the funeral at her countryside, and we want to welcome him back. Secondly, to the community in Busiro North. The community in Busiro North, particularly in Chengeza Parish. We have organized a community service day next week. Actually, the original plan was to conduct it next week, but some changes that are going to be communicated in due course by our mobilizer, Kansala Yasin Chimeze. So, but the program will still run. Don't get worried, we shall be going to expand the roads, the inner roads, apart from the main road of Yunura, and then we shall be planting trees there and support and promoting of environment, and also encouraging and members to ensure that they maintain hygiene within the homesteads. Now, on the question, clearly you can't see a deliberate effort. No, a deliberate effort for the election controlling body, agents, electoral commission. There's a reluctance. You can see it clearly. A reluctance on their part, not to allow this party to go on, this proposed party, to proceed as according to their plans. Okay? The reason is so fast-sighted, and what has been seen in the national media, they're not convincing, not quite convincing. It's like somebody denying that you are not Muwonge simply because you have called yourself Dirisa Muwonge, and then somewhere else you call yourself Muwonge Dirisa. This is not something that
Electoral Commission will have to tell us the difference between Dirisa Muwonge and Muwonge Dirisa.
And that's what they are giving us as of now. But anyway, fortunately, they are not saying that they are not going to register the new formation. But what I can see
but
them
also these
doing,
guidelines cast out, they're like, there is a chance of denying you this.
yes,
Maybe
but
delaying it.
what could be read between the lines by analysts is that they are waiting for something. Perhaps it looks like they solicited for, they consulted somewhere, and the answer is delaying to come forth, upon which to rely on, and this is not something that you can cite within their mandate. It's outside their mandate. If they have to consult, I don't think it's stated anywhere that they have to do so, but that seems to be the case as of now, and they are waiting for some green light, whether to proceed or not to proceed with this. In a way, this is affecting the concerned, especially the group that fronted this name, because they want the name to conduct some activities, okay? And there is now an effect of delay. And of course, somebody who is not interested in them progressing, they are benefiting. See, and therefore, we want to ask the Electoral Commission to exercise this mandate as stipulated within the law. They don't have to go around, dilly-dallying around. As he has stated, there's clearly no basis upon which they can reject this. No, because there's no limit to how many number of political parties we should have in the country, that it has been overshot. That could be maybe a more sound reason. On the contrary, actually, number of parties are failing to live up to their responsibilities. They are defined responsibilities in the Constitution. And as the latest I've heard is that the parties which had been registered and those pending that had gone up to around 30 have now reduced to 26. Okay? But now that cannot be a basis, cannot be any reason for new parties to emerge. So all I can say about this is a delaying tactic, perhaps to slow down.
It is sabotage.
Perhaps, the programs which they had about this new formation intending to conduct across the country.
Okay. So, Mr. Manager, really people are wondering, okay, so now you've been let off the hook. You've been, given a green light. When is this likely to be, if all goes well?
Pardon?
When is this likely to be? According to your plans, when do you think, if you don't meet any hurdles, if the Electoral Commission is to
What we can tell the public is that in February,
by February
2025,
yes,
we shall hold another delegates conference that will now usher in the leadership of this new formation. That is what we have on agenda.
Are we going to hold elections? Who's going to, are we going to choose leaders?
Apparently, we have held elections. We have held elections up to the district level.
Okay.
What is pending?
I'm more interested in the top leadership.
Definitely ours is democracy.
Chairman,
it
president,
election.
vice president.
It is election. That is why I'm saying that in February, we are going to have a delegates conference specifically to constitute the national executive, the national leadership of this new formation. We assume that by that time, the Electoral Commission should have dissolved the AFDC. And legitimately, according us the opportunity.
That part of dissolving
yes.
the party.
What about it?
Do you think it is attainable, really?
Well, I don't know why. I don't know why. Mr. Mwanga, I even wanted to comment about the spirit of the debate we are having. You are insisting the Electoral Commission is going to cross. It's not going to allow us. But what does the law require the Electoral Commission to do? The Electoral Commission is there to receive all applications. The Electoral Commission has requirements. The cardinal requirement is the signatures from across the country. A distinct ideology. You understand? You must prove difference between you and others that exist. That's all. Now these others, Sijui, I think you resemble your neighbor. That is politicking. It proves a point that in Uganda we don't have multi-party democracy. In Uganda we are under military rule. No wonder the commander-in-chief made a joke about elections, the business of the Electoral Commission, addressing the military.
Let's talk about the FDC National, which you want to dissolve.
Yes.
As you were tendering in your new name,
yes,
you also tendered in your request
yes.
to dissolve
yes.
the old name, FDC.
Yes.
And what was the reaction from the EC?
They are yet to respond on that. This letter they are responding to, we submitted it on 27th, long ago.
It didn't like
the response.
It didn't talk about the dissolving of the FDC.
No, of course they couldn't mix issues. They chose to address us specifically on the application for
But I'm wondering,
With
how
the
do
version of the
you
name-
dissolve a standing political party which has party headquarters, which has a well-organized structure? How do you really dissolve this?
I want to ask you,
Please do.
what stops a man who bought his chicken to kill it and take soup out of it?
If you bought it together, unless you, if you
No,
bought it,
I am asking, if a man bought his bull and he has chose to slaughter it on Eid, what prohibits him? Why should it be
we
a
are not
debate?
talking about one man here. We're talking about a group which formed a political party. And
Yes.
now the group
Yes.
has split. One group wants to kill this animal,
Yes.
and the others like no want to keep it.
Yes, yes.
Of course, that will call for a dialogue.
Let us discuss the principle.
Okay.
The principle is a party can be dissolved. We can discuss how.
All the founder members agree.
No, that is not a requirement. It is members, not necessarily the founder members. Suppose they died, and this part has become a national issue, a national problem, a national crisis. What do we do? Do we migrate to Kenya?
And by the way, if I asked you, Mr. Mayanja,
Yes.
because I don't think in 2004, 2005 you were old enough to.
I got active in
You
politics.
can't possibly be a founder member.
No.
This is what I wanted to point out to you. If I look at Najjana Nkumbi
Yes.
and Katonga Road,
Yes.
where is the biggest number of founder members of the FDC? I think the biggest number is still at Najjana Nkumbi.
I think we lose the bigger debate once we
No,
limit.
educate me, because you are inside the party and I know.
We lose the debate once we limit ourselves to founder members. You cannot tell when a party was founded because a party is an idea.
No, we can tell.
No.
Mayanja.
From my point of
We
view.
know when the FDC came in place.
No. From my point of view, listen, we are going to electoral commission to register. But for us, our consciousness informs us that we are already in a political party called the People's Front. Go to my social media accounts. Visit Dr. Besje's accounts. Visit Honorable Semju. Visit what branding are they putting on? It is for us.
You can be, but also the FDC can be.
That is why I'm saying, that's why I'm saying, the formation of a political party is a genesis of an idea. Someone shares it with a college. They nurture it, they build it. It becomes a political party. So, when you say a founder member, I want to ask you, of those who claim, those who want to debate the issue of founder members, I wish one of them could tell us that once upon a time, I was having taken my breakfast, I thought of an idea of this organization called FDC. I would say that person is a talented liar. The FDC was an amalgamation of different ideas. You cannot list the founders. You can only list the promoters who took the party for registration.
Mr. Mayanja, for anything to come in place,
Yes.
there are always the masterminds. Okay? When the FDC was coming to inception, in fact, even some of the people at Katonga,
Yes.
who the public thought
Yes.
they are founder members, they were actually not in the country. To mention Dr. Kiza Besje, he was not in the country
Okay.
by the time this was founded.
For the benefit of our viewers.
The Nandala Mafabis were there. The Patrick Oboy Amriats
Yes.
were there.
Yes.
The Ekanyas
Yes.
were there. And all those names I'm mentioning, they are still at the Najjana Nkumbi.
Let me ask you a question.
The Mayanja Roberts. I ask the questions here. And I ask on behalf of viewers.
Yes.
The Elias Lukwago, when the DP, he just crossed to the FDC. He didn't even stay there for a year.
Yeah.
Until when you guys left and you wanted to dissolve it. You know, the people you're having there really. When you're talking about the core, founder members, you may have one or two. Now, one wonders where you derive the right to dissolve this. Secondly, on top of that, Why are you so much? Where do you get that anguish, that hatred, that anger, that before you form a new one, you want to first kill the other one and bury it?
Yes.
Why that hatred?
If I can begin from there. When we form a company, a private company, me and you, we set out in the memorandum of association, we set out the issues that are going to bind us together. In the articles of association, actually, we stipulate responsibilities, and we also agree on individual contributions, right? So once we get issues on those two documents, you apply to the register of companies of withdrawing your interest in the company. You can also apply for a dissolution of that company. Are you aware of that? Now, are you aware that companies, political parties, let me be specific, the FDC is a company limited by guarantee. The procedures are slightly different, but the objective, the methodologies are almost the same. If political parties are formed by people, the subscribers of those political parties, therefore, according to our constitution, have power to dissolve that party. So, those who seek to dissolve FDC, they think about it via the constitution that binded them together in the first place. Now, the issue of foundation, let me now, Mr. Mwanga, you have a habit of provoking me to disclose classified information of our organization, and it is not ethical. But let me say this.
We need to know.
Let me say this.
Please.
The formation of FDC was after the election of 2001.
That's when you go down.
Those who sat down to form FDC are those who sat and did an assessment, a performance assessment of 2001.
You know that,
and that was the reform agenda. After the elections, it is a normal practice, I think also JEMA does it, that ever after an exercise, you sit down and you assess yourself.
Mr. Mayanja, I can't...
you make recommendations.
I can't agree with that. I can't believe what you're telling me.
One of the recommendations was, I think we have failed as a reform, as a pressure group, driving the reform agenda. I think now we need to register a political party and we draw the lines.
Mr. Manja, you talk about a time when we never had political parties in place.
Yes.
And you also talk about the same time when nobody thought that maybe we shall go back to multi-party dispensation.
Yes.
You talk about something that came later, much later. That was in 2004.
Yes.
Or 2005.
Yes.
We moved into multi-party dispensation.
Yes.
So clearly, you can't, everybody can say that you're really not telling the truth. When you say that after January 2001,
yes,
after that election,
yes,
that's when you saw that now we need to form a political party. When we are not in multi-party, democracy.
Okay.
It was in a one-party system. You can't lie to us. That's when you got the idea.
I hope you were also an adult during the constitution-making process.
No, I wasn't. I was a
You
kid.
weren't an adult.
You talk about 1994, 95.
But I think you've learned, being a journalist, that
was a
even
toddler.
when we did not
But in 2001, at least
even when we did not legally add political parties were in existence. At least to their political party.
They were, but they were on the leash. Nobody.
No. You see, when I come to discuss on this show, I don't discuss headlines. I discuss details. So, we had political parties. The Democratic Party was active even before the Constitution.
Mr. Mayanja.
And so is the Uganda People's Congress. But they were restricted. But they were restricted. They were restricted by a clause in the Constitution. Listen, they were restricted by a clause in the Constitution that said that while the movement system was in practice, others shall be in abeyance. The political parties were only allowed to operate at the national headquarter level. You understand? So, pay attention to the election of 2001. Who were the actors?
Actors, how do you mean?
Who were the actors, both on the scene and behind the scenes? I would say that the Dr. Paul Kawanga Semogerere of the Democratic Party was active in the election of 2001. I have shared this panel with members from the Democratic Party, and they authoritatively said that it is the Democratic Party that made Kizza Besigye. So, am I wrong therefore to say
of course you're not,
that political parties were in existence, only that they were not allowed to go in the countryside and transact business? And that is it is from that basis that I say that the formation of FDC, the original idea of the FDC came from an assessment meeting of the reform agenda after the election of 2001. That is why Honorable Salam Musumba responded to Engineer Patrick Amliato Boy that yes, Besigye was not a founder, but he was the foundation. He was the foundation because the desire to form this party called FDC was realized in assessment of the Kizza Besigye race 2001.
Dr. Sobs Kagwa, I want to bring you in. They are talking about dissolving the mighty FDC. I'm calling it the mighty because they argue to have won, the election twice, 2006 and 2011, if I'm not mistaken. So such a big party. Now people want to see it killed and buried. You speak for one of the political parties in the country. What's your feeling about this?
It's very unfortunate, and we are sad about that development. But this is an issue I can see not ending at the Electoral Commission. I can see it going on up to the Constitutional Court and maybe perhaps the Supreme Court. The individuals are pursuing two interests. One to start a new formation, and another one to dissolve an existing formation. It might be easier to initiate a new formation, and by the way, that could be one of the reasons why there is this, dilly-dallying, deliberate delays. They are still struggling to understand this, the implications, the political implications today and in the future. Now, my colleague Robert Mayanja, whom I respect and with whom we share a lot, has alluded to a private asset, maybe part of an estate, as he asked you whether if he bought a bull or chicken, whether whether he has a right not to do anything with it, including slaughtering it. But I can see that there's a difference, a very big difference here, my young brother.
Yes.
You bought the bull and surrendered it to the community.
Yes.
You no longer own it alone.
Yes. So the community are stakeholders.
Yes.
Before you slaughter it, you need their
very big stakeholders.
consent.
My connotation was, I want to slaughter this bull for the community on Eid Day.
But you have to seek their consensus on this. That would be like acting dictatorial. You see, if you decide and you think you have the right to do anything you want with it.
My senior.
One thing I have to go back to, and I've stated earlier on, one thing you have to understand, and the viewers here, is that, by the way, the Forum for Democratic Change, splitting the individuals in that group, splitting is a norm, it's a tradition. tracing it from the history where they have come from. A number of them separate from the ruling party, NRM, from the reform agenda. They were part of the ruling party, and then from the reform agenda, later on into the until where they are now, or where they were before where they are now, to FDC. Okay? So the possibility of reconciliation in that case, going by that history, is unlikely, and that's why they could, I am saying, they could be successful in registering a new formation, because this has been the trend, going back to looking at Madame Bet Kamia's party, successfully splitting and initiating or redefining themselves in a different, even with a different name, then coming to ANT. So this development is not going to be new. The new name they are suggesting is something that has been associated with these individuals. But now, as I stated previously, dissolving is a new dynamic, something very new, and that's why it has to take a lot of time, a lot of our interest, the players, the actors in the political field. And I'm saying it is causing, one of the reasons causing the delay in registering the new formation. Yes, they are studying the implications. So, they are stakeholders in the existing Forum for Democratic Change.
Yes.
Far bigger and beyond the original initiators, the registered names. And I'm saying it's going to be a very big challenge now to convince the other stakeholders that no, their party should be killed and buried.
Okay.
Because look, they have a right even to ask the reimbursement of the investment they have put in form of those who are holding card holding members. They have invested in FDC. What are you going to do with their investment? Are you going to reimburse it? That's why an individual is likely to emerge and take this issue to the Constitutional Court to get a proper interpretation of it. And
that's a very good issue I raised.
Yes.
People are now doing massive.
They are card holders and they have spent their resources
and they
on
are not
these cards.
considerate that people have lost their money.
Yeah.
But General, hold it, Mr. Mayanja.
Yeah.
Let's first take a break. When you come back, I still have a lot to ask you. Because in Dr. Kagwa's submission, there is something also like...
The bull was surrendered.
He mentioned some people who have already left the party.
Yes.
Kamia left the party.
Yeah.
I think she was the first to walk out.
Yes.
Formed her federal alliance.
Yes.
She never requested for the dissolution of FDC.
Yes.
General Mugisha Muntu Gregory left FDC.
Yeah.
He never went to the electoral commission and said, as you registered the ANT, dissolve the FDC.
Yes.
You're just being mean and selfish. Let's take a break. He's going just far to defend himself on that. Don't go away, that will continue shortly.
Uganda, your #1 leading education newspaper, is back, bigger and better. With articles to fully suit the educational triangle, from the government, schools and parents all over the country, aiming at answering the ever left out questions, not forgetting revision questions and answers set by experienced teachers to prepare students for their finals. The Lana newspaper is supplied to over 12,068 schools all over the country with affordable advertising rates. We offer many more services which include uniform and sweater tailoring, all with an aim of easing work for the educationists. Contact us on 0754 777 029 or 0774 621 539. Email us on info@lananews.com or visit our website at www.lananews.com. You can also visit our offices at City Center Complex, Room J15, 4th floor, along Loom Street. The Lana, prioritizing education.
Discover delicacy at Cafe Atu, your all-in-one destination. Whether it's the perfect cup of coffee or a satisfying meal, we got you covered. Indulge your cravings with our mouth-watering pilau, savory katogo, crispy chips, and tender chicken. Explore a world of cocktails and fresh juices for a truly special treat. Planning an event? Choose Cafe Atu for top-notch outside catering services. Benefit from ample parking, stay connected with Wi-Fi, and catch your favorite matches on DSTV. Cafe Atu offers food deliveries in and around Kampala. Hosting a conference, our center accommodates up to 1,000 people. Need a boardroom for a party or corporate meeting? We've got just the spot for you. We offer a free venue for birthdays and baby showers, providing complimentary photography. For those aspiring to become professional baristas, our barista school awaits you. Visit us at Albany Center, Level 2 on Ginger Road. Cafe Atu, where every occasion becomes a memorable experience.
You're making us proud when we know that you're out there watching us. You're still watching the dialogue. With me, there is Muwonge, with my partners here, Dr. Swipe Kagwanseliko, the GMR spokesperson, and Mr. Mayanja Robert, the deputy spokesperson of the People's Front for Freedom. He no longer wants us to refer them as the FDC Katonga-based faction. Mr. Mayanja, here I come to you.
Yes, sir.
If I took a break here,
Yeah,
pointed out something
you
harsh.
made a provocative,
Very harsh.
a provocative
Yes.
analogy.
On behalf of our friends who are not here.
Yes.
The Najana Nkumbi FDC.
Yes.
Here, you are forming your own political party.
Yes.
And you're most likely to be successful. Indeed, you're going to be successful in registering it.
Yes.
But you want to first dissolve theirs.
Yes.
And like I said, Dr. Swabia in his submission, I remember something. You are not the first ones to walk out.
Yes.
Betty Kamya, instrumental as she was in the FDC,
Yes.
she walked out and she never wished anything bad to happen in that political party.
Yes.
She formed her Federal Alliance. General Mugisha Gregory Muntu, the former president of the same political party, when he walked out, he wished only good things to the party. I even remember his last, remarks,
Yes.
which he was pointing out to Mr. Amriat.
Yes.
He asked him to be cautious. He asked him to be cautious. He was like, when I was president, I know what I've endured. Please be cautious. Things are not going to be easy for you. When he walked out, he formed his Alliance for National Transformation.
How I wish Amaliat had listened to Muntu, who wouldn't be in this show today. How I wish. But to go back to where you had ended. Dear viewers, political parties, in my own opinion, are ideas whose objective is to improve life. political parties are ideas, they are ideologies, they are methodologies that a certain group of people think is best suited, subjected to other factors with the objective of improving life.
The primary objective of any political party
Is
is to
to-
assume power, to take over office.
No.
That is the primary.
What do you do?
Basis.
What do you do with power?
Of course, that's when it
For
comes
us.
That's when it comes into prove life. Because you can't prove the life you're talking about when you're still on the periphery.
And now I understand why FDC is really a thorny, is a thorny subject to the public. It's because FDC was set when there were existing political parties. The founders of FDC had studied all these political parties and set to give Uganda something unique. What is unique about FDC? For us, our solo mission is to improve life, whether we are in power or not. Haven't you seen us? When there was hunger in Katakwi, we have a government, we have a party in power, but citizens were perishing in famine. The FDC went with answers. When there was crisis is it in Tungam? Yes.
Isinjiro.
Isinjiru. The FDC, not because we are in power,
You're not the
but
first
because
of your kind
our
to do that.
conviction is our ideologies must uphold life, must improve the quality of life consistently. Now, if that is the reason why we formed the FDC, it therefore meant that the conviction, the binding adhesive is the ideas. Yes, you said first was the Honorable Betty Kamya, who was a shrewd mobilizer. Even in our differences, I give it to her. She did a commendable job. But why did Betty Kamya left and formed the Federal Alliance? We can now say that at a certain point, Betty felt like the federal agenda under the FDC has not been given the priority it deserved, in spite of the fact that in 2006, Chiza Besigye manifesto proclaimed that once we took power, the federal issue would be debated in 6 months and implemented. There was a commitment in the manifesto of 2006 that once we get power, the federal issue shall be debated in 6 months and implemented. Betty Kamya went because she thought that while everything else is good, federal has not been given the priority it deserves. Now, I come to General Grigori Mgisha.
Is that the reason she left?
That is the reason.
No light out.
You can tell the reason by where someone goes.
You said you are
No,
going-
you
you
tell
said
the
you were
reason by
going to
where
be
someone
honest.
goes. Where someone goes.
You said you had going to be honest, but honestly speaking, is that the reason why
Why
she
did
left?
she go?
You tell me.
I have told you she had started mobilizing for federal. But members were thinking that it is still, the time is not ripe.
Okay, now here she lives,
And
but
forms-
she does not wish you.
Yes.
Bad. And she's like-
Because the consciousness is the body is okay, but we need to cut the nails. If you can read into what I'm trying to paint. The idea of the party then was still intact. The question was priority.
Maybe you should focus on Muntu because
I am
Muntu is
coming
going
to that.
serve a
I
very
want
good
it,
example.
because you brought them in the debate. Now comes to Muntu. Muntu was in total agreement of everything that FDC stood for, except one thing: the approach, the methodology approach. Muntu believed that it was useless to engage in direct fights with the regime before we
The defiance style.
Yes, before we consolidated our strength amongst our structures, members, and supporters.
Going to grassroots.
Muntu challenged the time Because none of us is defiant compared to Muntu and Besigye, who defied by the gun. For us, me, I have defied with the pigs. Muntu defied with the guns. But because he's a militant, he said, he believed that time wasn't ripe then. Internally, we were not prepared to engage in battles of that scale. We had a lot of debate.
And with that,
We had a lot of
with
debate.
that difference of perception,
Listen,
you called him a moral.
no,
He's been behaving this time.
I have discussed with you the genesis of the moral issue, but I will also touch it as I wind up this submission. So we had a conversation with Muntu. We told General Muntu that, you see, we would operate better if the contestation was political, and therefore the organization is clear. The organization approach is clear. We are into a liberation. We have nothing. We have nowhere we can base to organize. And indeed it happened. I went to Nalfenya one day, but not because I had done something heinous. My party had instructed me to go to Chadondo East constituency. I was in Kasangati, in a residency of one of our members, and I was conducting a training, non-violence training, to our members. Do you know who came? The SFC. They blacked doors, they caused the mayhem, and were all binded up and ferried to Nalfenya. This is what we are telling General Muntu, that even when we want to organize silently, the oppressor will always come, and it is better we organized in engagement. We subjected these two opinions to a vote, and the defiance took the day. Muntu did not argue.
What kind of election was it?
There was an election of ideas. First, the Chiza Besigye, Mugisha Muntu contestation for the flag to the elections of 2016. That election was purely a vote on the approach, defiance or structure building, which we call compliance. The defiance took it, and in Lugogo, Muntu stood and said, you people have won today, but I'm a long distance runner. Now, Muntu went because he thought that his approach could not be accommodated under the umbrella of FDC at that time. He went and formed the Alliance for National Transformation, and we have seen how he has evolved his idea up to where it is today. Now, come to the crisis today. The crisis is not on approach. The crisis is not on priority.
And when Muntu walked out,
The crisis is...
when Muntu walked out,
Yes.
yeah, with everything that you've told us, of course it wasn't all roses for him.
Yes.
But even when he quit,
Yes.
he never wished you bad. He was like, I'm walking out. And we've never had any bad statement he has ever made about the FDC.
Yes.
Why is it that when you walk out, you want to bury the whole thing?
It is because we have this patient,
Who's the patient?
the FDC. First, he became sick. We took this patient to the hospital, and the doctor diagnosed that it would be better we reduce on the food we give him. Betcamia went off. We thought we had treated the sickness of the patient. After some time, the patient dissolved some complications. We took this patient back to the hospital. Better surgeons and qualified medical practitioners diagnosed this patient and said, we need to cut off this arm because it's where the problem is. We thought that when we cut off this arm, the remainder of the body of this patient called FDC would be healthy, and therefore it will go back and serve us again. We waked up one day towards 2020, 2021. This patient developed serious complications. We took this patient back to the hospital, and the doctors told us that this malignant cancer that infected this patient of yours is in advanced stages. All that you have is to prepare for his funeral. I hope you understand me, Mr. Mwonge. FDC had been diagnosed of multiple organic failure. The lung had been infected by cancer. The liver had died. So there is nothing to hold on.
But there are those who are ready to persist and endure this patient. You who are tired of nursing this patient, walk away. Let these ones who can continue with enduring.
We have done two things.
And persist.
We have done two things.
Just like Mugisha Muntu did. When he realized that this patient, I'm going by your example.
Yes.
When the Mugisha Muntu,
yes,
the Betkamias realized that for them, they are out of patience.
No.
They chose to walk out.
Yes.
So, but here we still have a group which says that first we can endure, we can persist, continue nursing this patient. The Mayanjas, the Westians who are tired, walk out. Let these ones continue nursing. But here you are, you go there, find someone.
Mwonge, there are sicknesses that attack the human body, that even funerals are conscripted. We have witnessed of recently when someone is diagnosed of Ebola and the COVID-19. You are not even allowed to bury that body. This political party called FDC, this time around, suffered from Ebola. It is supposed to be in isolation. Its death, in the events of its death, it must be handled by professionals.
To kill it.
Or else the dead body will continue to infect. It will continue to spread its fungus to infect the rest of the country. That is why we did two civil things. One, for those of us who are in interaction with the doctors who have been treating this patient, those of us who have the diagnosis and the prescriptions and the recommendations, we have gone to the family members and told them, guys, much as we want our father to stay, our dad has Ebola. This is the reality. This is the reality. Because I have seen you not comfortable. You are not used to Ugandans waking up and say, we want to deregister this and register this.
Because really,
you, in your own opinion, you think we are not citizens enough to form our own citizen organization and let alone resolve it. If it is not serving the set objective, why must we maintain it?
It wouldn't be an issue, you deciding to dissolve it, if you all agreed. But we have one party which says, here we are, this is our party.
We have discussed.
And then you
yes,
are saying that you want to dissolve it.
Yes.
And we're like, why do you want to dissolve something which already has an organization? I'll tell you. The FDC has its president, Patrick Oboya Muriet. The FDC has spokesperson, Pete Chikonyoko, John Chikonyoko. Let me finish.
No.
I'm showing the structure. The FDC has its Secretary General, Nandala Nathan Mafabi.
Yes.
The FDC has its treasurer and others. It has its party headquarters. And now you decide choosing to dissolve it when it has its, organized structure. That's where
Mr. Mwonge, you can never understand the Islam faith, its practices,
unless you're Muslim,
unless you go very close to it. I am privileged that I entered the FDC faith, and I sailed through up to almost its apex. I know what I am talking about.
You know, I love the examples you bring, because if I'm to go by example,
Yes.
you're going to die in your own film. Here you convert into a certain faith.
Yes.
And when you want to leave it,
Yes.
you want to first bury that one.
Yes.
You've left FDC faith.
I used it.
Embrace the
I used it
PFF.
deliberately because
Leave the FDC faith to be.
I used it
Let me
deliberately.
bring it, sir.
No,
Dr. Swab. It's been quiet for so
that,
long.
I used
It's
it
been quiet for so
deliberately
long.
because the Prophet Muhammad believed that those who do not believe in Islam do not even have the privilege to live.
Oh,
Yes.
So now you don't
The
know
matters
Islam.
of faith.
So now you don't know Islam.
So if FDC
you now-
was an Islam
You're now
formation,
saying what you don't
you
understand.
disagree on the principles of Islam, you die.
Mr. Mayanja, and now you're using examples of things you don't totally really understand.
I may not be an
You are
authority on the
demeaning-
Islam
you are demeaning-
affairs. I admit.
You are demeaning our
But- but
prophet,
fr- but
a
from
very
the-
tolerant man who had his friends who are reverends and bishops.
Yes.
His good friends,
Yes.
with whom they were transacting business.
Yes.
And now here you are,
Yes.
bring that street understanding where you say that Islam says that
No,
if you're
I
a
am
Muslim,
not-
you deserve to die. That's what you said. Because you said that our prophet says, if you're not a Muslim, you're supposed to die. You are demeaning our prophet.
I am
and our
not an
deen.
authority on Islam affairs.
Okay, that's not true. I want to say it's not true.
but I have read it.
But that's not true.
It may not be.
I just told you about how he had friends who are bishops.
Yes, I understand. Yes, I understand.
Yes.
But amongst the Islam scriptures,
Scriptures.
it is.
Quote one.
I can't quote it.
So,
I
now
can't
you're saying
quote
what you don't
it.
understand.
I can't quote
Which
it.
is annoying so many people out there.
Let me take it away. Let me take it away. But this is what I wanted to say. This is what I wanted to say. That, you see, political parties are formed to govern life. They are that sensitive. The moment a contradiction on its ideals incurs, why must we maintain it?
Dr. Sabrin,
Wasn't Hitler in a political party?
you've spoken for like 30 minutes.
I am winding
We
up.
have another panelist here.
Is
He's been quiet for
the
30
Nazi
minutes.
party still in existence?
Dr.
Are you telling
Swab,
us to leave the Nazi party of Uganda in existence?
here we are talking about a political party, you know, that they want from one and they want to dissolve the other, the old one. And I gave him examples. They are not the first ones to walk out. Kame walked out. She formed her own. But she never asked the Electoral Commission to dissolve this one. General Mugisha Muntu, who was even a party president, a man who everybody feels that he was so suppressed in the party. He was name called. They called him a mole. You don't know how that hurts. You are with your colleagues in a fight, and then all they do is to doubt you. You don't know how that hurts. He walked out, but again, even when he walked out, he never asked that this party should be dissolved. He formed his own and moved on. But when they walk out, they want first kill this one. And surprisingly, the people who are leading the idea to have this party dissolved are people who just joined recently. I mentioned people like Elias Lukwago. I'll come back to you. You know, Elias Lukwago is at the forefront, you know, pushing for the dissolution of the FDC, which he just joined.
And what's wrong with that?
You are just there for a month and you are dissolved. I'll come back to you. Let him first submit.
Well, I regret to say this because in a way it might weaken, discourage, especially the Ugandans who had hope in the opposition to bring a better alternative government into power. But what is happening across the board in all, not only this new attempted formation, but across the board in all political organizations, opposition organizations, demonstrates shallowness, demonstrates ineptness, demonstrates amateurism in issues of governance. Now, I think what my brother Mayanja wanted to allude to, picking it from the Islamic faith, is something to do with betrayal of a cause. Betrayal of a cause, especially a cause that is struggling for justice, then if you are found to be a member of a team that wants to uphold justice and you tend to ally with the opponents of your opponents, and then you betray your team, I think the penalty, the ultimate penalty, is death. And this happens, applies also in military science, the conventional military science.
Amongst the Christian, it is written that if one eye corrupts you and prohibits you from seeing the grace of the kingdom,
but
it out.
This is different. Maybe you forgot to bring it out exactly like that, and you cited somebody who doesn't believe, something like that. There was a mixture.
I really apologize.
So this is what is happening across the board in all political organizations, opposition especially, and it's unfortunate because the Ugandans, what they expect from us is giving them ideas how we are going to better manage the country than NRM has done for the last 40 years. Now, but we're engaging in these issues to which Ugandans, well, maybe they see them as problems, but not as big as the NRM itself. And they would want to see us focusing on dislodging this one, the big problem, the bigger problem, the bigger challenge. And that would send messages of hope in them. They would want to see us demonstrating what is in our manifestos on the ground, especially in areas where you don't need to use a lot of money, like I've just mentioned when we are beginning here, the community services we are planning to conduct in Busiro North. They will see somebody, an opposition figure, doing something very constructive to them. And upon that, they would think of an alternative. See? But see, this is happening, and that's why I'm saying it's happening all over the parties, not only here or there. And I think it's a very big diversion, very big disappointed on our part to the people of Uganda. It's like we are betraying them. Really, we're not offering them what is the alternative. And there are better alternatives, by the way. I've been studying the FDC manifesto during the time we have been allying as, especially presidential elections, 2 times. The manifesto had very beautiful for Uganda. If Ugandans had a chance this to be elaborated to them, they definitely would combine efforts to ensure that they eject NRM. But look the space we are giving it. Look at Mr. Museveni, the way he's an opposition in his son. He has some of the obligations, some of the duties he has to conduct as president of Uganda. He has delegated them to the son. These days, he's the one meeting foreign ambassadors. That is a foreign policy issue. It's not within the mandate of the command of the armed forces at all. But he's being prepared for that. Is PLOU? MPs are being prepared for him to cross in the last term. Those youthful in the NRM, they are definitely going to cross to his side when he registers. This is all preparation. We are sidelining it. We are looking the other way around. We are spending a lot of our energies and resources on internal conflicts, which should have been resolved, honestly resolved, because this happens across everywhere in our own party. In our own party.
Jemma, you're not united as well. In fact, I'm afraid what befell the FDC may befall you.
We are not, and this is the message I'm putting across. It's not only in the FDC. I want actually to give out some tips. He says, Mr. Mayanja says, that there was an issue of betrayal. Betrayal. Yes. And the perpetrators are condemned by death. And this is now what they are bringing forth to justify the killing of the shell on which they are hiding, which he described as was already sick, multiple organ.
Mr. Mwanga, to answer your question, yes. Have you heard Jack Savitt say that we tried walk to work, we failed. We tried directions, we failed. For us, we are tired. We are now poor. What do? We join Museveni. We ask him, we join Museveni to do what? Because this is how we know Museveni. We know Museveni of abusing laws. Are you inviting us to join Museveni in abusing laws?
Okay. Now, there is betrayal. In case, okay, it says if you join Museveni in abusing laws, in conducting human rights abuses, like
Yes,
I've always told
yes,
you,
yes.
that, in fact, I want to repeat it here, those who think Jema can ever ally, please, that is an insult to us.
It's an abomination.
Yes, very big insult.
That's why I equated it to a border.
Because, Mr. Mwange, there is no
In
party
politics, everything is
currently.
possible. No, not so long ago. No, but Mao was speaking like that.
Yes.
Gentlemen, I want to tell you in this panel, just this week, the mighty Abdul Katuntu, your friend, is joined the NRM.
Yes, with Katuntu, that's an individual.
You can't make such a
That's
statement, Dr.
That's
Swai.
at individual level.
You can't make such a statement. When just the other day,
Yeah.
your own Secretary General, it was all over the press. They are saying that he's working with the president, with President Museveni.
That
You saw
is that is different. I'm telling you.
So-
I'm telling you.
That's how it all starts,
Jema
and,
can never, because
eventually
and,
how the
and I
whole
was
political
explaining
party
this. I was telling you. Currently, there's no party that has suffered political persecution than Jema, because
Political persecution.
yeah, we are foremost to challenge Mr. Museveni.
I've not
You
seen
remember?
you in the trenches like them.
I'm telling you, you are a young man. For the last 18 years, consistently suffering political persecution. Jema started on a vibrant note, very strongly in 1996, foremost amongst those who challenged for power of Mr. Museveni. Now, the perception Mr. Museveni has constructed within the security agencies is to view anybody who emerges to be a state opponent and is handled accordingly. That's the kind of persecution that we've been going through. Whoever emerges, initially it was Mr. Muhammad Mayanja and the late Paul Kawanga Ssemwogerere in 1996. Right. Now, it is because of Mr. Muhammad Mayanja's emergence that this law does ask public servants to first resign their jobs before they contest. Before
That
they
idea came
engage.
from him?
Yes, it's because of that. Because
that requirement in the requirements for election was enacted targeting Mayanja Chibirige, who was a lecturer at Makerere. And we all know that a lecturer commands a university.
yes, and even others, you know, they don't give strong attachment to education here. This government NRM, and they fear. That's why Dr. Kizza Besigye is always asking, where are the elites of this country? Because they are contained within the civil service, and they fear to lose their jobs to come out. No. So that law was enacted for that purpose because of Mr. Muhammad Mayanja. He was a director at Makerere University then. He lost that job, and ever since he has never gained any other job. No, so the persecution that has been conducted upon even young Muslim men for 18 years. I just told you recently, my own son adopted 18 years, just 18. He celebrated his birthday recently of 19 in a location we don't know.
Still holding.
Taken simply because he is associated with somebody who is in the opposition, who is in Jema, which has been the public perception constructed that it's a rebellion party, maybe because that is what they told them. And by the way, recently we are at the Monyonyo.
I'm confused because Museveni is really enjoying working with Jema. Even the other day he said
It doesn't.
he does.
No,
He
in
does
any
enjoy
case,
working with him.
if
He does
somebody-
enjoy working with the DP. In fact, the other day he mentioned, let me tell you in his own words, it was like, when I hear these people, if I have Jema on my side, I have the DP, I have the UPC, what else do I need?
How?
In others was like, I have
How?
the Muslims of
How?
Jema,
In any
I have the
case-
Catholics
in
of
any case,
DP,
if you
I
have
have the protesters of UPC. What else do I
If
need?
you have to use public resources
Here
to
is
buy
my
me
board with him.
on your side, you have not bought my conscience.
But by the way,
You
Mr.
haven't.
Mwange, as the next generation,
Hmm.
it is time we stand out and point out to immorality as immorality. It is immoral for President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni under multi-party dispensation that we went through that was ushered in by referendum, to start compromising political parties, that
Yes.
compromise alone
public
is
resources.
an indictment to the referendum which ushered in the multi-party dispensation.
Okay, now, two reasons why we are at this stage within the individuals who started FDC and where they are. One of them is what he was alluding to, betrayal, okay, whose penalty is death. But I want to pass out a tip to colleagues within the force, the change-seeking forces, okay? One, we have to accept certain things to demonstrate maturity. We have to exercise these things. One, to accept that there is always going to be infiltration, and it's there, okay? Infiltration, because it's a method exercised by all professional intelligence agencies.
Then why is that when it happens?
Across the
it doesn't
world.
leave it the same. You break apart.
Yes, that's why I'm now passing on this advice to the rest, so that we'll stop this. We even reduce giving space, room to Mr. Museveni to do the things the way he wants, even grooming his own son using public resources. Can you imagine? This office of the assistant RCC is doing job from Museveni, using public resources, rather from Museveni's son, using public resources, because they are there to promote
The last time I checked,
patriotism.
the last time I checked, his son is the CDF, Commander of the Defense
And
Forces.
now,
And
he's meeting with diplomats.
I'm finding it difficult for me
Yes.
to relate the two.
Yes.
Assistant, RDC,
Uh-huh.
how are they mobilizing?
They are conducting-
But comfort yourself that he is the owner of a platform called PLU, which has a Secretary General, which has independent mobilization officers.
even the third layer of RDC office is doing work for him. This information,
What work is that?
because they are part of their mandate.
Their core
work
mandate is
to
patriotism.
teach patriotism.
And is that wrong?
Who is
In
the
your
chairman?
opinion?
Who is the chairman?
Are you not gentlemen?
No.
You gentlemen, are you not patriotic?
No.
I am.
Are you not patriotic?
I am
Who
a
taught
patriot.
me
I'm a
to be
patriot,
so?
but who taught me?
Who taught me to be so? So
I learned
Let's take
patriotism
another-
from my
telling-
mother's breast.
I'm telling my colleagues within the political opposition that let's understand these things. Let's be mature. First of all, you have to appreciate that infiltration is always going to be there, even by ourselves. We are even free to send infiltrators within NRM. But this is mainly conducted by all professional intelligence agencies.
In
including-
Uganda we say, ekijoma nkinyaga bitono.
Yes, and that's
You're
why.
already aware
Yeah.
that the NRM cannot let you be. Even
yes.
the president has, in fact, one good thing I think should all like about our president is that he's an honest man. He told you the other day, these political parties, I'm going to finish them off. So you should just be prepared for that. When
Yes.
such a thing happens, Mr. Mayanja,
Okay.
why should you
Let
be
me pass out
surprised
my
and then
advice.
it alarms you and it even leads
Why
to
don't
your breakup?
Why don't you allow me to educate my colleagues? I was telling them, I was giving them a tip so that what has happened within FDC doesn't happen in other parties. Because if FDC was successfully infiltrated by use of public resources, use of public money, so the same happened because they couldn't have done it
On
on
FDC.
FDC.
They also came to jail.
Yes, but how do you go about that? This is what I want to share out. First of all, very easy to identify who an infiltrator is. How do you do it? Two ways. One, when you are seated in strategic meetings, the ideas, the strategies is promoting are those that don't target the prime enemy, but targets other simpler enemies. The energy, that is an infiltrator. Wants you to use your energy and resources on other conflicts, not targeting this one. That is one of the ways to identify that person. Secondly, how do you then tame that one? Do you suspend him, or do you even run away from your organization? No. How you do it? First of all, they are never going to to accept doing it openly, even secretly, because if they do so, then nobody's gonna trust them again. Okay? They will resist to accept that. But what you do to confirm it, you assign that individual roles that target the prime enemy, in this case NRM, you will see them not executing them, those roles, duties, because then the paymaster, you are now targeting your paymaster. You cannot do it. And when he goes to discuss it with the paymaster, because he's also a professional, will know that this has been identified. He will narrow down, will scale down the engagements with him. Don't run away. This diverts us from the bigger cause. Okay? The bigger cause of offering Ugandans a better government. See? Now, difference in opinions. Bet Kamya was federal arrangement, a federal form of government. The other ones are for what we have, Republican and the rest. Different in opinions. Should that lead to separation? No, let's tolerate. Let's always accept that these differences are going to be there. What about being diplomatic or defiance, which caused the split, the division with General Moto and the rest? Should that have been the cause? It's all because we don't mentally prepare ourselves even for these differences. And that is what would send out a picture to the rest of Ugandans that we are not prepared to take over the leadership of this country.
Let's take a break.
From that.
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we are going to continue discussing these issues, including President Museveni, who said that he was cheated in the 2021 general elections by a full million. He was so particular, he said it was the national platform that cheated him. Don't go away, the dialogue continues shortly after this break.
Uganda, your #1 leading education newspaper, is back, bigger and better. With articles to fully suit the educational triangle from the government, schools and parents all over the country, aiming at answering the ever left out questions, not forgetting revision questions and answers set by experienced teachers to prepare students for their finals. The Learner newspaper is supplied to over 12,068 schools all over the country with affordable advertising rates. We offer many more services which include uniform and sweater tailoring, all with an aim of easing work for the educationists. Contact us on 0754 777 029 or 0774 621 539. Email us on info@learnernews.com or visit our website at www.learnernews.com. You can also visit our offices at City Center Complex, Room J15, 4th floor, along Loom Street. The Learner, prioritizing education.
Uliyunga wikakasa tolozilyo wetaaga okutumbula ekitundu eky'omukuyimba kano kikasiireko BTM TV akuletedde Raise Your Mic yimba ate ensonga za kuyimbira ku live band ngate abawanguzi bakwewangulya ebirabo eby'enjawulo okuli obukadde bw'ensimbi 5 pikipiki kapyata okulikodinga nyimba mu audio ne vidiyo n'ebirabo ebirala bingi obwetaba mu Raise Your Mic genda ku simu yo nyiga *2M7*407# olondeko option ya Raise Your Mic olondeko option ya participate osindike message buterevu ojja kuba weetabe mu auditions wano ku BTM TV abaana babayiseemu ku mutendero oguddako bakulondebwa abalabi bafe aba BTM era beewangulira ebirabo biwugiddwa Simba Automotives ne bikutuusibwako BTM TV.
So much for staying with us. You're still watching the dialogue. I'm here with Mr. Mayanja Robert. He's the deputy spokesperson of the FDC Katonga-based faction, which is very soon becoming the People's Front for Freedom. And Dr. Swaib Kagwansereko, he speaks for the JEMA. Gentlemen, I want you to share your views on President Museveni's complaint. Here he is saying that he was cheated in the 2020 general elections by a full million by the National Unity Platform. Mr. Manja, as an experienced politician, what do you read between the lines? What is President Museveni trying to pull? Is he being honest, or, and why now? And also considering the audience he was speaking to, that is the military. I mean, you could read much into this. What is it that you're reading?
Well, personally, I never wanted to discuss that, simply because President Museveni, once upon a time, in the by-elections in Ruero, urged that his candidate was cheated by the opposition, then the Democratic Party, and that election returned the Honorable Brenda Nabukenya. President Museveni made a big case about the quality and the competence of the Electoral Commission to conduct a free and fair election. We had him. In the subsequent engagements, we proposed the what was it called? We traversed the country and collected ideas that, yes, it was called the Citizens Compact for electoral reforms. We tabled it in Parliament. What did Parliament do? The NRM Parliament did not see value in our proposals and the call for a debate on electoral reforms. The same president was dragged in court in 2006. In that electoral petition, the judges made a pronouncement, fundamental things that we must grapple with as Ugandans who still have time. The judges said, the court said, that there was rigging. But that rigging is not enough to change the course. And thereafter, President Museveni comes here and says he's a statesman, he's a nationalist, he's a patriotist. He wants to project Uganda as the center of gravity for the East African Federation and the African Federation. Where does he get the moral authority to come and discuss with us about election rigging? That is why I didn't want to discuss.
He's a victim.
You see, we have a lot of things to look at.
Poor man is a victim of election rigging. You want him to keep quiet about this?
President Museveni,
you want him to be cheated
President Museveni is a gorilla. She lives by camouflage. That was, and Moaso, he was before the military. So that was a military camouflage. But let me tell you the politics there. The military have issues. The military have fundamental issues. I have been following ever since he made his son the CDF. There was resistance in the inception, but the team has persuaded the military.
Resistance from who?
Of course, the issues of the military, though they are not discussed on the streets. But I told you, I work with ex-servicemen. I have seen soldiers who have petitioned Dr. Chiza Besigye that you were once part of us and you still have a voice. These are our issues. You think that office at Katonga was for what? So, the military have issues. A lot of issues. There are issues to do with rank, appointment. There are issues there. Only that where their issues are discussed, we are not there. But for them, they come to Parliament where our issues are discussed. So I want to tell you authoritatively that there are issues in the military. Okay? There are issues in the military. The other day, you had General Sejusa complaining about he applied to retire from the military long time ago. I think his retirement came. We have discussed is it the military council or the security council, which has individual membership, like Emayanja Robert as a permanent member of that council, even when he's dead. There are issues in the military.
You talk about the high command.
I think the high command. It has dead members. Now, General Museveni choosing to address the military on matters of election was diverting the military. He was diverting the military.
From
the military came and thought that this was going to be the occasion for the commander-in-chief to address to them issues pertinent to the military. Guess what he did? He took them for a chibozibozi. Who can believe Museveni? Okay. How did the NUP? Because he was
given
specific.
your stature in politics, you
Yes.
shouldn't be calling this a chibozibozi.
No, it was a chibozibozi, and General Museveni
was something strategic.
No.
The president is talking about
I have told you
that he was cheated and is speaking in front of the military.
You see, I'm a politician.
The soldiers.
Yeah, I'm a politician. And the business of a politician is to analyze information, verbal and non-verbal. You understand? So I have unpacked for you the politics of the occasion, and I told you in my preamble that I don't want to debate what Museveni said. I am not trained to do that. I am trained to look for the unsaid. I pay attention to the unsaid. You understand? What Museveni said makes a lot of sense when you put a few things together. Okay? And I have done that. I have told you. First, what was the occasion?
A military expo, defense expo,
Thank you very much.
in commemoration of the fallen.
And what was the highlight?
Commemorating the war.
No! The highlight is what you are inviting us to discuss
Okay.
today. So,
You mean what took place?
if I can put this in Uganda, twabadde ku mbaga master of ceremony n'atuleetera omusika omusumisi. Do you understand? President Museveni's statement were out of the place of the occasion. That now invites me to discuss what was he doing in that place. That is why I'm saying it was a chibozibozi to divert the military. Museveni employed a military camouflage. People came expecting to see and hear something different, but President Museveni disappointed them and discussed something totally alien. But if you must insist,
And you're speaking as if the military has no interest in elections of this country.
of course the military have interest in the election, but on what occasion? On what occasion? We have sat here and said that the military were smuggled into the parliament as listening posts. Today the public opinion is the military must leave parliament because civilians are not members.
Public opinion.
It's a public opinion, yes. It's one of the proposals. In fact, I told the Honorable Rumo the other day that when you are talking about the management of parliament bill, my opinion would be let the military exit.
My late professor,
Let the military exit.
political science professor,
They were there as
He
listening
was totally
posts.
against that.
They were there as listening posts until when General Katumba Wamala boxed Zake. That's when we learned that these are not listening posts.
Professor Pinchwa, and everybody knows him.
Yes.
Professor from Makia.
Yes.
Political science. Was taught against,
No.
the whole idea of having a military
You see,
in Parliament.
I have told you.
But let me bring in Dr. Swipe.
Let me tell you this. The Constitution as we have it in 1995 was a compromise by very many stakeholders on pertinent issues. The narrative, because for me I was an adult when the Constitution was being made, the narrative was that, you see, these militaries are away from the political spectrum, do not appreciate what makes politicians to fight. So let them come and be part of the debate. Let them listen. When they are called upon to fight, they will not, because they will be. That was the narrative. But today, the conduct of the military in the House, a multi-party House, yet the military is supposed to be non-partisan. Do we still need it in that House? The answer is no.
Dr. Swipe Kagwan Seriko, how much do you read into President Museveni's statement when he said that he was cheated and he was like, have sufficient evidence? If they want, they can go on and sue me. If they sue me, I will lay on the table and defend myself.
The one who are not complaining. The one complaining. And
with that information, why is he not in court?
I want to advise Ugandans through this great station. Limit your attention to the actions and words of President Yoweri Museveni. Prioritize your attention to a Uganda after Mr. Museveni, the future Uganda. Prioritize your resources, your thinking, your capabilities to a new Uganda after 40 years of President Yoweri Museveni. That is one of the strategies.
Did he tell you that after 40 years is living?
Yes, yes.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah.
Did he tell you that after 40 years?
He told us he's thinking about heaven.
Well, you look at it this way. Tomorrow, 15th September, he's celebrating his guest birthday of 80 years.
Carry on.
He's celebrating guest, mark the word guest, birthday of 80 years.
Assumed is the
Assumed
right word.
maybe
Assumed
80
birthday.
years. Now,
I think it's above that.
yes,
No, he told us he doesn't know when he was born.
I'm justifying.
That makes sense, actually. That makes sense, because he was like, my parents were illiterate, so...
I'm justifying why Ugandans who are concerned about this country should be thinking of a Uganda after Mr. Museveni. Where do you see him in the next 10 years? Where? Where do you see him in the next 10 years? In the political field. So, yeah, he's giving space, definitely. Nature is very democratic. Nature is forcing this.
He can't successfully compete against nature.
Yes, yes. He is giving space. And that's why, for you are concerned about this country, and that's why I regret us spending energy trying to... Yes, bickering with the houses.
Gemma should be working
These are problems we accept within our house.
Speaking of that, now there is something. You never invited Gemma when you were...
At the Delegates Conference? We invited.
You invited them?
We invited.
And you never went there? Do you have problems with
Yeah,
them?
we had a representative there, although it was at a low level. So look at it, Ugandans, please. This Jaja, this gentleman, he's not with us. He has given his best, if I should say. There's nothing better he can. Okay? First of all, when he was still in his prime time, he wasn't a straight man. Do you expect him to be now? He wasn't.
No, sometimes when you grow,
Look at
when you grow old.
in regards to elections, what did you say during the COVID period? That whoever goes ahead with this election will be a madman. What happened?
The election was held.
Yes. Now he's
Engaged in it
And he
and...
took the day.
Yes.
He took the day. That means if we are to go by his description that whoever thought of an election in 2021 is mad. So we want to invite him to give us a better name
And then you
of the
realize-
beneficiary of that election.
And you continue relying on those words from a leader that they are guiding the nation.
He ceased
No,
to be
for
reliable.
other purposes, the words. There are other for other purposes. Now, in this particular case,
As you wind up.
in this particular case, two issues. One, to divert the attention, and that's why I'm asking you
Create
to
public narrative.
A new
You have
public
invited us here and
There
wasted our time.
there have been
to
big
discuss.
statements, and I'm
That's why I gave
surprised.
it just little time.
I'm surprised why Ugandans do not read this very fast. There are two big issues in this country. It has been pretending to fight corruption. But now statements are emerging from the palace itself, from State House, indicating that 20 billion is kept somewhere by an in-law of State House. See, 20 billion, upon which some other small men like Mawana and the rest have been arrested. Now, this is an opportunity to divert, to create a new narrative. Because Ugandans, if they are serious, they should be asking, where is this money for cooperatives? The first son says he knows where his in-law has kept it. We have been busy fighting the Mpuga issue of 500 million. There's 20 billion here. So if he puts us into a situation of discussing whether Inupu stole his voice or not, then we are diverting away from that. Secondly, justification of the involvement of the military in the forthcoming elections. Here it is.
Actually was invited.
Yes. He is asking those who have retired that should be involved. That Ugandans, the second advice, demonstrate lostness, demonstrate hatred to anything to do with the gun. All this suffering we are going through is because of the gun, prioritization of the gun, even in our own budgets. But now it's justifying why the military should be involved, because they are the ones who are going to curtail the so-called stealing of votes. Recently, I had just told the nation that NRM has registered 18 million voters as members, right? But when the national census came out, it indicated just 20 million Ugandans are the adults who vote. Now, do you really have to focus on such words anymore? Ugandans, let's be mature. Let's understand these things. Let's think about our own country.
Countrymen to stop listening to their president. That is not credible enough. That's what you're saying.
Yes, because you look, just imagine about 10 years. No? And tomorrow it says it's celebrating 80 years. Yeah. But even the story surrounding that, the birth circumstances of himself, total lies. As an academician, as a researcher, I cannot commend such literature to be relied upon for serious documents to be relied upon. For somebody to cite that, he claims at 3 years he was able to know the differentiation between the colors. The color he was putting on at 3 years. And know where the bus stops and where he alights from.
You doubt the president's stories.
3 years. And you recommend such for research citations? No, ignore.
What story of President Museveni do you really believe? Which story of President Museveni do you really believe? Because
no, look, he told the story, and this is appearing in our national newspaper. The New Vision of today. Look, go. There is an insertion.
If you want to understand why we don't take his statement serious, first of all, ask yourself why his brother is so interested with artists. Because President Museveni was becoming a big item in the theater.
You see, at 3 years.
Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Mayanja Robert is the
for me, when I come across such,
of the FDC,
that you could tell that at 3 years I'm putting on yellow. Oh,
Dr. Swipe Kagwansereko is the
red flag for me to
Gemma, thank you so much, our dear viewers. We've come to the end of this edition of the Dialogue. My name is Idrissa Mwonge. Thank you so much. Continue enjoying our programming. Until we meet again, inshallah. Goodbye for now, and see you then.